Hello, it's W Bacon. Welcome to the last rankings update of the regular season and the inaugural rankings companion video. Given the relatively low team count this season, it's also great to see all 11 teams from the start are still alive and kicking. Now, with week 5 in the books and most of the weird maps out of the way, we head into the final 3 weeks, comprised mostly of rematches. The top 3 teams look heavily entrenched in their spots, but nothing set in stone, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone can knock them off their perch and stake a claim to a spot in the postseason. For the 4th spot, though, it's at large and it's too early to call who's going to take it. It should be an interesting race. And now, for a quick rundown of our rankings, and a word with a few of the players. Since the last update, the one and only Crab team has shed Tyson and picked up Deadly Seed for his advanced debut. Results so far have been mostly inconclusive. For the most part, things appear to be going about the same. On one hand, the old roster with Tyson beat Cadets Thrembology, sans Tristan, while the new lineup headed by Deadly Seed Combo Scout came close to upsetting Monster Munch on product. Nonetheless, they haven't been able to perform reliably against most teams, and with only 2 wins, are essentially eliminated from playoff contention. Still, there's plenty to fight for. As someone who's finished last or near last a few times, getting the wins where you can, learning some lessons, and fighting to avoid finishing at the bottom can still be a good motivator. If this team still has the drive, they can end up with a few more wins to close out the season for sure. So, first of all, just kind of generic question I want to ask everyone. What do you think is your team's biggest strength and weakness?
Biggest strength?
Biggest strength and biggest weakness, yep.
Our biggest weakness is that we suck.
Okay, that's unfortunate. Alright then. So, also, why is your name Crapussy? Did anyone ever tell you that?
I have no clue. Not a clue. Not a clue.
Was that a selling point for the team that made you want to join it?
No, I wanted to join it because I was on 5 advanced teams, and I tried out for all 5, like 5 advanced teams, and all 5 of them died. So I had to play in main.
Yeah, see,
So
on
when I got a chance to
20k
play
bad
in
bitches team, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I named that team 20k bad bitches. It was supposed to. I wanted it to be 20k bad bitches on an island, but Zab wanted like an air of mystery to it, so we settled with 20k bad bitches in a dark room.
I feel like 20k bad bitches on an island is kind of mysterious. It's like Lost.
True, yeah.
But I don't know. It's a good compromise. But I guess under the future, final question. I guess do you have any shout-outs or just anything else you want to say to the other teams? Any kind of a message out to the public you want to make?
Yeah. And don't sleep on us, bruh. Don't sleep on us. We'll catch you lacking. We'll catch you without the strat. You know, if you get caught lacking in these streets, bruh. I'm telling you, you come up to mid and you start off glassing and shit. Nah, it's done. It's done. So yeah, that's about it. And also shout out to my dick and my 2 balls.
The Slice Rogue Soldier Cutters, now uncreatively named VVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVV record to go 3-6. With the current lineup, there's enough potential on paper to right the ship and snag some wins during the last few weeks. Fig, Apt, and even Sega MW are strong enough players to make some waves and could catch some teams off guard. This week's games against Crabbussy and Team of Anchors are winnable if they show up, keep their heads in the game, and execute. A good run here could push them toward the middle of the table. Also, fun fact, they've somehow managed to draw the bye week card twice already. You have the inside scoop on the Slice Rogue Soldier Survivors, now called VVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVVV
of Slice Rogue Soldier, so good thing they changed that name.
Yeah, it would have been false advertising for sure. So would you like to speak about the circumstances regarding why you were evicted from the Slice Rogue Soldier survivors and why they couldn't survive you?
Well, they cut me because, well...
I think that's all I have for the questions. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, go back to like the first questions, yeah. Like I feel like I didn't answer them correctly. Not correctly, but like
oh, you answered it. It's fine. Like I said, I'm not using the whole thing. I'm just using the highlights.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's really bothering me.
all right. Last question. This
go
is
back to the first one.
We already answered it. You
It don't
answered.
matter. I want to answer it again.
Well, you can't do it again. This is
Fuck.
life. You get one you get one
Fuck.
chance.
No, but the other fucker was Indian and he like interrupted me.
Yeah,
I
that's
couldn't, like-
part of the show. This is exactly the. I'm having another drink. Well, thank you, Mr. Rogue, for coming in today, and appreciate the insight once again.
I have a few shout-outs, by the way. Yeah. For revenge for Apt, fuck you, Cadet, and I feel bad for that Tristan has to carry you all the way into hopefully playoffs. Hopefully you can break your curse and Tristan can get his well-deserved playoffs run. Other shout-outs. Shout-out to Craig.
soup.tf is in the same situation as Crabbussy. They have the same record and have appeared to be close in skill level based on their match and scrim results against each other, with soup.tf having an edge. While their only win is against the aforementioned Crabbussy, they've continued to show fight and have at least taken rounds in most of their losses, even against good teams. Additionally, things have started to take a brighter, new direction now that main calling duties have transferred from Dr. Arcadia to Mr. Danny D. Perhaps that could be the key to winning a more decisive victory in the rematch with Crabbussy. Their team leader, Arcadia, mentioned that 4 wins is the goal, and if that's the goal, it's within reach. If nothing else, I'm sure the season's been a useful learning experience. So I guess just to start off, what would you say is your team's biggest strength and weakness so far?
Biggest strength, definitely got some talented DM players. Weakness is we're just all a bit inexperienced. A lot of us are strong DMers and lower divs, so we struggled against the invite teams.
I see. And that kind of leads into kind of my next question pretty well. Is there a particular point that you feel your team's improved on, in particular since the start of the season?
Oh, do you mean in terms of the LAN team or my personal team?
This is in terms of the RGL seasons team. Yeah, the soup.tf.
Oh. Sorry, I thought you were talking me about LAN.
Oh, okay, no, sorry.
No, sorry, let me rephrase, because I was thinking about my LAN team. So the first question, actually, honestly, it's similar answers. We have strong scouts with strong DM, but our weakness is kind of lack of experience overall. Anyway.
What made you guys come up with the soup.tf name? What's the any origin story with that?
I'm just the soup guy, I guess.
Good luck and thanks for coming.
Thanks, you guys as well.
After Sunshine Week, Team of Anchors had a 4-loss streak bookended by wins over 2 low-ranked teams, Crabbussy and soup.tf. They remain firmly anchored in the middle of the road. Considering the next 2 maps are more scout-centric, I can see things are going well for them as their best DM player, Rave, will have numerous opportunities to put in work. Also, no one on their team could be reached for common in time, so... yeah. The waters were murky at the start for the Boomer team. Scrims and early matches were a huge struggle. But now, the old legends have woken up and are really looking solid, having decisively taken out the 3 bottom teams and scraped some rounds off Allen Gaming. They've made a statement that they're a real team and not a second bye week. Funnily enough, they've done the opposite of soup.tf, where soup.tf swapped from their medic main calling to having a combat class main call. Dogg Pics has done the opposite and crowned invite champion Ninja Nick as the new main caller, and the results seem to show it's working. While it might be a slight stretch, it's believable that they could finish in the top half of the division if they continue to de-rust at this rate. So I guess the kind of generic question I always ask first is, what do you think is your team's biggest strength and weakness so far?
Wow, that's a good question. The strength is that we're all kind of like relearning the game at the same time. So, like, everyone is very open to criticism, and it makes like improving very easy. The weakness is definitely that, I mean, we all haven't played in forever, so we're very rusty. But I'd say that's probably a good answer for both.
One thing I wanted to ask was, so it's been maybe like 15-20 seasons since you retired from TF2. Have you been playing any other competitive games, or maybe just focusing on other things, or what have you been up to, kind of?
I mostly play poker, personally. I played Overwatch for a little while, but I haven't been doing that for a couple of years now. So yeah, just poker, and now TF2 again.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. And final question. Saw you playing Elden Ring when I messaged you. Do you have any thoughts on the game so far? Do you recommend it? Just anything about it you want to say?
Yeah, I like it a lot so far. It's hard as fuck. I wanted to do like a bow build, so I ended up doing the samurai guy or whatever, but it didn't. It seems like there's not really much of a like bow build strategy that I've found that works so far. But yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's about it. Just, do you have any other shout-outs or just anyone you want to... Any other last words you want to say?
Shout out to my teammates. Everyone's, it's been honestly, like, obviously it's not the best team I've ever been on, but, it's been a tremendous amount of fun. Like, everyone is constantly enjoying it, and we're constantly getting better, and, yeah, looking forward to the end of the season.
Everyone's favorite villain cadet has continued to thrive after a tragic first week. Post goalie wash, they're 6-2. It's a good, respectable run. However, both of those losses were brutal sweeps from playoff teams, showing there's still a gap to be crossed. Even their close match versus Allen Gaming was against a weakened version of the team that had a ringer. If they want to stay in the hunt for the 4th playoff spot, big changes need to happen sooner than later, as they can't afford to lose too many more without falling out of the race. Perhaps the recent switch moving Rico, Tristan Suave from Pocket to Roamer might be the extra bump they needed. It's a long shot, but if everything falls into place perfectly, they still have a playoff dream intact.
I think our weakness is just, I think it's a bit on the mental side. I feel like, I know, like sometimes we may switch off a game. You know, like the one time we were playing Monster Munch and Reckoner, we kept it pretty close in the first half, but then after we lost a couple of rounds, we just started snowballing and eventually lost 5-0. So I think that's something that my teammates are working on. My team in general, like me as well, like everybody, we're all working on it, and yeah, we're hopefully gonna improve as the season goes on.
And also going back to the other thing you said about your team kind of making changes. You said you recently switched from Pocket and back to your main of Roamer. Why did you guys decide to do that?
Okay, so if I'm honest, I wasn't there when the decision was made, so you're probably gonna have to ask one of my other teammates.
One final question here. So Tristan, I've heard you're kind of a beast in the top lane on the Shin class, on the Shin character. Yeah. How has your League of Legends career impacted your gameplay? Do you think it's made you better, improved your kind of awareness of the game, or you think it's actually made you worse? How has it changed your play style?
Yeah, I mean, mechanically, I don't think, it's completely a different game from TF2. But I think that, having like awareness, a bit of, like map awareness is always good. I think always, like, whenever you're playing any type of video game, being aware is something that's really good for you. So if I had to say that something has come from my time playing League of Legends, it's probably a better awareness, and honestly also a better mental state, because that game can be tough sometimes. So just like not getting down, not being tilted, I think that also helps.
So what would you say is your team's biggest strength and weakness?
Biggest strength is that everybody knows girls that born after 1993 can't cook. All they know is charge their phone, eat McDonald's, twerk, be bisexual, eat hot chip, and lie.
Alright, sounds good. Thank you for your time, Mr. Z.
Yep.
In an alternate timeline where someone woke up on the different side of the bed or had a different lunch, this team could be 9-1 right now. Starting in week 3, they lost 3 matches in a row by 1 round, nearly upsetting Allen Gaming, Isopodyysey, and Thrembology. It's sad the cookie crumbles that way. I had the exact same streak in Season 6, but, of course, there's still enough time for redemption. In fact, the turning point may already be here as they clutched it out and defeated Testosterone Took My Homie in a 5-4 victory on Snakewater. With some more performances like that and a definitive win in the rematch with Testosterone, they could be looking at a trip to the playoffs.
Really heavy loaded, so he's fat rolling already.
Oh, he's flubbing.
Oh no! That's a classic Tasheen moment.
That's one death down. Log it.
Bro! Bro!
And for those 3 matches, I also saw that, you had that streak starting with the Reckoner, lost 3 by 1 round. What happened there? Was it just a matter of the other teams just a little bit better that day? or do you feel like it's maybe the mental pressure or anything like that, or what do you think?
I think it's more to do with our coordination, because if you like look through the logs and just like looked at, we like won a lot, like 70% of those mids on Reckoner. I think it was just like basic coordination, or just like who's taking Ubers, like because our medic, he plays really passive and he wants to like that real confirmation call, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but then he ultimately gets disconnected and people get dropped, and I felt like that wasn't specifically that, but it was like kind of things related to people just not getting healed at the right time. Yeah, that's about it.
I guess one kind of a personal question for you. I know in the past some people have called you a toxic player. Do you feel like you've kind of reformed, or do you feel like that's just kind of you, or do you feel like maybe those accusations were incorrect?
They were, I believe they were justified back then, but I've been smoking weed as of late, and I believe I'm much more calmer as a player.
On paper, there's a lot of potential for this team, and by no means are they out of the game yet, as they still hold on to the 4th spot on the table by a difference of a few rounds, which is definitely way too close for comfort to call a safe lead. The road has been rockier than predicted, as they've lost 4 out of 5 games to teams in the playoff picture and created a rock, paper, scissors with the other 2 teams they're tied with. Coming off a 4-5 loss to RGL esports.com, they've got a quick turnaround for rematch, and now equipped with a new medic, Caboose. This could give them the change they need to bring it back and pull ahead into the playoff race. Let's see, so I also want to ask about the playoff picture. So right now, of course, the playoff picture is really close for fighting for that 4th spot. The cadet team, Thrembology, and what's that, the team, RGL Esports, the XBS team, and then of course you guys are all 6-4 right now, all very close in round percentage. With those 2 guys being your main competition, do you have any thoughts on those teams in particular? I know you beat the Thrembology team pretty badly, and then the RGL Esports team, which you're rematching, I believe, this week. You lost to last time you played them. Do you have any changes you have planned for those teams, or just gonna show up to the match and just do your best?
I mean, my strategy is always show up to the match and do my best. I know the 5-4 loss against RGL TF2 Esports hurt pretty bad, but we did have Moom on pocket for that game, and we lost the guidance that we had with Bear. And I know I played particularly poorly in that match. I played with the ringer. I was pretty I played more like standard. I didn't go for many change-ups, and I think that really hurt us. But yeah, I think the real goal is just show up, just try and 5-0 everybody, try not to lose a game. Because I think us 3 teams are kind of in a similar situation where, with how tight the race is right now, like none of us can afford to lose any like bad matches. We just have to go and try and win out as hard as we can in order to make it.
So yeah, just kind of pretty much all I had. Just have one other question. So I noticed last time I saw you, your hair wasn't very tall. Will you be changing that? And do you think that's affected your gameplay, or is this more of a permanent type of change?
Yeah, see, since 2019, I've gotten my hair cut a little bit shorter than I normally do, which is a good change in my opinion. I think in the past I have underestimated how much hair needs to come off the top when I get my hair cut. So going forward, I think this is a good change. And you'll probably not see the hair be too tall going forward.
Understandable, but does this has this caused any troubles in the dating scene, making you appear to be shorter? Do you feel like that's been a big misplay, or do you think this is overall the pros outweigh the cons?
I mean, at LAN, Marmalou and Habib both called me mad attractive, so I think I'll be fine.
All right, yeah, those are kind of the key opinions we need to impress, and if that's what the verdict is, and really no argument there. Similar to RGL esports.com, Isopodyysey has had a shitload of close, important matches. Unlike RGL TF2esports.com, they've had the good fortune of being the team coming out on top. Another point in their favour is that while they started the season giving away a lot of rounds to the lower tier teams, partially due to some internet issues, they've cleaned up their act and crushed their last 3 non-contender opponents in 5-0 shutouts. Nonetheless, they're still a firm number 3 as they haven't knocked off anyone above them or put up enough of a fight to make a rematch look truly scary. As long as they continue to come up big in clutch time, they should have playoffs locked down.
He's 9 HP. Okay. Dude, that demo blinded me. He had a bucket trap.
You died to a bucket trap?
No,
died
to a bucket trap. He died to a bucket trap. I took 100 damage from the bucket trap, and then a soldier just landed in my face and instantly killed me at the same time.
What did I count for a bucket trap, though?
Who the fuck? I saw our soldier walk past it, so I thought it was safe, but...
You died to a bucket trap?
No, I only took 100 damage.
Yeah, so Russ Ronald, thank you for coming to agree to be part of this little interview thing. Just gonna be a couple of quick questions. Just get a little bit of insight to how the team's going and that kind of thing. So first of all, just want you to tell me what's your team's biggest strength and weakness.
Well, I think our biggest strength is our really good players. I know that we have me, Ruster Ronald, on the team, who's very good. And also we have Peniferous, who is a very talented player who's placed very highly before. So yeah, it's good. But to be honest, mainly it's me, Ruster Ronald, the best player on the team.
Understandable, like the confidence, I like it. What about your biggest weakness? What do you think is the biggest weakness that is stopping your team from reaching that number 1 spot right now?
Well, our biggest weakness is that we lose to other teams sometimes, like when we scrim and stuff. So we need to stop doing that, and then if we stop losing to the other teams, I think that we can win, because then we won't lose anymore.
I know a hot take, but I'll take your word for it. I think it's something to work with, at the very least. So
Yeah.
Thank you for that response. I noticed a lot of your matches, regardless of if it's a top, middle, or bottom team, seem to be pretty close. What do you think's causing that? Do you think you're going to be more dominant towards the end of the season, or do you think that, or do you like kind of adding that drama to it?
We aim to play somewhere in advance, like between, say, first place and somewhere like 12th place. So in one of those spots. So I think like in the teams that we've played kind of in that part of advanced, we're having close matches because that's where we feel like we are, but we haven't played many of the teams outside of that range yet. So when we do that, I think that, we'll have, some more dominant matches playing the worst teams.
Yeah, understandable. Some teams kind of have a wide range they're aiming for, and if that's your goal, then it looks like you guys have really accomplished it.
Thank you.
So yeah, I guess one final question for you personally, Roster Ronald, since you are Roster Ronald. It has been a couple seasons since you played Med. Last season you played around with a little bit of Scout, but what made you decide to get back and play Medic again?
Well, you see, my Medic's really good because I'm actually the best player on the team, as I said, and I do like 600 DPM on that class, and I only do like 450 on Scout. So my Medic's just kind of a more valuable resource to the team, just because of the damage output that I can give, and I can also, heal and Uber everyone.
So you can kind of a two-way player, dominant on
exactly.
both sides of the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes perfect
I just
sense.
do everything, actually.
Exactly, definitely the best class to carry on.
Mhm.
No other class comes close. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Any other last-minute shout-outs you want to do before we wrap it up?
Yeah, shout out to me, Roster Ronald.
Alright, great for us, Ronald. Really glad, like I said, like the confidence. I'm sure you guys will do well. I think you'll accomplish your goal of finishing somewhere between 1st and 12th. Just a hair below Allen Gaming. Monster Munch's new roster with Ethan, Guy, and Frick My Nicholas looked sharp. They did lose to Allen Gaming while using several ringers, but it was a close 3-4 loss, and they were in the midst of some turmoil as they had to rebuild half their lineup. Aside from the loss to Allen Gaming, their only other blunder came in week 4 where they nearly got their backs blown up by a surprisingly fierce Crab Bussy. The bright side is that those missteps aside, they've been dominant over the rest of the competition, and now with their new pickups, I don't see that changing. And of course, you can't forget the legend himself, Kobe 1920, will surely find a way to continue to put up big numbers regardless of who's with him or in front of him.
Beast. Dude, I wish I was drinking. I would be so good at this.
Yeah, that's why I do it, you know? Anyway, so what do you think is your team's biggest strength and weakness right now?
I think that our biggest strength is going over things preemptively and learning something from every game that we play, and also Kobe.
Yes.
Our biggest weakness is probably split-second decisions and wrong calls. I think that times whenever we take Ubers, it is mostly a me thing. Whenever we take Ubers, we have problems stopping and like just assessing the situation. Sometimes I take things too deep.
It's kind of like over chasing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. And actually, that brings me to another question I had. Who is this Ethan guy? Someone said he's like an Asia Fortress player, but I wasn't able to find much history for him. I saw a couple of logs where he played in Asia Fortress, but do you have any information about him? I'm just not very familiar with him, but some people are saying that he's really, really good.
Yeah, he's pretty goated. He's like Kobe, but on Flank Scout, and he's basically just... I'm pretty sure he came over from Asia around Season 6 or so, and he played Season 7 and got 2nd place in main on Pocket Scout, and now he's on Flank Scout for us. It's a good commer, and he's got nuts DM. Good coordination with Kobe on the flank.
And yeah, just kind of the final question I want to ask more specifically. So I know you guys you're probably one of the top 2 teams in the division, maybe number 1 depending on who you pick up. But of course you had that match with Allen Gaming. It was a really close match on Sunshine, 4-3. And that was kind of during the time a lot of the troubles happening with your roster. But really, what do you think went right and wrong in that match, and how do you think that you can change that for the inevitable rematch and probably a meeting in playoffs?
I think that what went wrong was we were still going through really big roster changes. We weren't preparing for anything at all. We were literally just doing tryouts, and we weren't like trying to demo review or anything. It was just a day-to-day thing. Everybody was going through the motions and not actually practicing for the current maps that we had been playing. Like, we didn't have any setups. We didn't have anything specifically like organized. We were just still trying people out. Like, we had only, I think at the moment, we had just picked up Ethan a day before, and we were just finalizing our roster, and we were just, I don't know, just caught with our pants down.
Yeah, and still made it a close game, though.
Yeah, still had a close game, but we'll try to do better next time. I think that what will change is going over things more and just gaining cohesion with new players that we're going to get.
Yeah, it makes sense. Obviously hard to really prepare when you don't have a full team, so it makes sense. And yeah, I guess one actual final question is, what are your thoughts on Elden Ring so far? That's what I've been asking a lot of people, because it seems like everyone I've messaged so far is in-game in Elden Ring.
Well, I've only just started, actually. At the moment, I just got down to some insanely huge tunnel. It was like a massive elevator. It felt like I was in there for 2 minutes waiting for it to go down. And it's been fine. It's a tense game. I hate dying.
It hasn't been an easy road for Allen Gaming so far. Aside from the first match and the most recent match, they've given up rounds even to low-ranked teams. There have been a lot of challenges, some of them traveling to LAN mid-season, a roster change, a near upset loss losing a ringer, and a nail-biter versus their most dangerous opponent, Monster Munch. These trials have surely made their season quite interesting. In spite of all these obstacles and stresses, they've come out on top as the last undefeated team, a pristine 11-0. If they can keep it up versus the new Monster Munch team in the inevitable regular season rematch, it'll make a clear case for them as the best team in the division. For now though, things are hazy, and we'll have to wait and see how things pan out. All in all, it's a close race between the top 2 teams, and unless some other team steps up their game, it looks like destiny that Allen Gaming will meet with Monster Munch in the finals this April. So yeah, I just want to ask a few quick questions. So first thing I want to ask, kind of a generic question I've been asking everybody. What would you say is the team's strength and weakness right now?
Well, a lot of the players on AG have been playing for quite a while now, and with that, there comes like a lot of good game sense, and having that history, there's a lot of people that want to pitch in ideas, and whether they're good or bad kind of is up to the team, and that kind of is where the weakness comes into play, because I understand that Dylan and Hunter both like to main call a lot, and whether those calls clash with each other and one person thinks right and one person doesn't is it's like plausible that there could be an issue with that. So yeah, I don't know, our strength is kind of the weakness.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Thanks. Another thing I want to ask is, I know there have been some close games, even against some of the lower ranked teams. I've noticed the team has kind of given up a couple rounds, and of course you guys had the really close match with Monster Munch. What do you think is causing these kind of low ranked teams to be able to put up a fight? Do you think it's just lack of discipline, like maybe not quite there in the mental game, or do you think it's just maybe those teams are just really rising to the occasion and just putting in some extra work because they know they're against a good team?
Yeah, well, I understand that last pushes aren't AG's biggest strength, so I don't want to completely discount what we consider like the lower teams' like abilities too. So I'd say it's a mixture of both. We can't really figure out how to push last, and I think there might be a little bit of a lack of discipline, given that most of the people on the team have played for so long. You know, they have that confidence of kind of thinking they know what this typical new player would be doing or whatever. So yeah, I'd say it's a little bit of both, I guess.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Kind of less gameplay related question. So of course, Monster Munch has changed up their roster since the first time Allen Gaming played them. Are there any? Do you feel like their new roster? I don't know if you scrimmed them since then. Do you believe they're stronger now, or about the same, or maybe weaker?
Let me ask my security, because he would have a better take on this since I'm not the one playing. Security?
Yes, hello. So, yeah, so we don't actually scrim that often. Probably scrim maybe like twice a week. And so we don't scrim Monster Munch. And I think, are you just referring to Edward?
They added Ethan. They also added Gaia and Frick My Nick last night.
Oh. Well, I wasn't aware of that, but I think I have pretty good confidence in our new picks. We had to pick up Pauly after Tony had to unfortunately stop playing, and he's been doing pretty well on the flank. So, but obviously the core of AG is still there, and yeah.
Oh yeah, also I'd like to add that Frick My Nick sucks, by the way. So.
Alright. Well, I think for that, I just have one final question, or actually maybe two final questions. The first one would be, does anyone here have thoughts on Elden Ring? Or the war in Ukraine, either one.
I haven't... Oh, that's a very wide range of topics. I don't have Elden Ring, I know...
You have the war in Ukraine?
Yeah, I don't like how Gwyn is being self-powered. I don't respect his invasion on Ukraine, and I actually have like a classmate, his friend, who has friends. Okay, this is like a lie, by the way. I'm not saying this, just like, yeah, okay. But she has a friend who had to escape to Poland, and she was lucky enough to escape, but her family got stuck because there is like Russian forces keeping their city on lock. So I think, especially not being in that area, I think a lot of Americans are kind of underestimating how impactful this invasion can be and what it's doing to families. So I think moving forward, Allen Gaming will support Ukraine.
Okay, yeah, final question. So, assuming Allen Gaming does win this season, where do you think Hunter 2.0, with back-to-back championships, where does that put him in the top 100 list?
I would 2 advanced championships back to back. There's not a lot of people that can say they did that, honestly.
Say probably number 76.
Yeah, I'd say on the lower end, or I mean the higher end, like more towards the 80 to 100.
2.0, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you for your time. Do you have any other shout-outs or just any other thoughts you want to send out there?
Yeah. Banny, we are coming for you. I'm gonna take everything you own and I'm gonna crush it with the power of my organization. So, watch your back. Hunter 5.0 is coming, and yeah.